folks. How are you?
How are you all doing? Happy Monday. Hey, mommy. How you doing, my pretty little lady? My lady. My... There goes
Sorry,
my
guys.
lady.
Happy Monday.
There goes my destiny.
It's not there goes my lady. It's there goes my baby.
She's my lady.
I know, but there's so many other lady songs you could have went into.
There goes my... I love your face.
What's going on?
How are you?
I'm great. Spectacular.
Spectacular, spluriferous, out of this worldness.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Dope.
Dope. Boy fresh.
Yeah. All those things.
All those things and then some. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Welcome. Be our guest. Be our guest.
That's from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Opening song when she comes into the house.
All that good stuff. So, again, what you do this weekend, Will?
I sewed all weekend long.
You sewed? Yeah. Hey, Jossie. How are you? Thanks for tuning in.
You know, that's what I do.
That's what you do now. You're a sewing machine.
It's
I made a funny.
Don't laugh.
That was a good one. Laugh. If you find it funny.
I did not see a ha 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 on the page.
Someone ha just for me because that was just too funny. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Ha. That was funny. Okay? You said, oh, I'm just sewing. And then I go, oh, you're a sewing machine.
Wah. Okay?
Thank you, Jossie. That's why you're my friend. Thank you, Jossie. That's why you're my friend. And you can get anything you want. Okay? Because you got my joke. Hater. So, Mr. Sewing Machine.
Were you a Simpsons character now? What'd you do this weekend?
Oh, I did so much stuff this weekend.
Yeah, you were all over the place.
I was working and mamma mia.
Let it go. Let's just let everybody know what you was doing this weekend. You went to a couple of good events this weekend.
I went to a lot of great events this weekend. Miss you too, Jossie. You know you're more than welcome to just come and sit on
come and sit with us, Jossie.
Come sit with us one show and just enjoy the fun. We got some champagne up in here and whatnot, popping bottles.
She didn't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? That was so unnecessary.
It was.
You know that kid that first time they go have a drink and they're not acting, they're like, oh look, we gonna have a drink. Like, it's okay though. It's okay.
Yes, Jossie, please, you're more than welcome. Back to my I know how to act self. So over the weekend, I want to give a great big shout out to Channing Clark. She's a friend of mine. She's a friend to all. She put on a phenomenal play, Confessions of the Hopeless. And when I say that this play was better than any play I've ever seen in a really long time, okay, it was serious. And it was about depression. And so in 2013, Channing, we were all chilling, hanging out one day, and she said, I wrote a poem, and I would like for you to hear it. And she started going into it, and it just broke me down in tears. And it was talking about how depression comes, whispers in your ear, tell you all these things that will just disturb you and put you into a place that makes you say, bump it, forget it. I don't want to do this life anymore. I just want to quit. And that's just what she was just giving a pure description of what depression is, because she is a psychologist. That's her background. So it's not just like she's saying this for fun. She's saying the real symptoms of what depression is. And she put it into a poem. And then she turned it into a play. Now, the backstory is 7 years ago, she went to go visit a friend of ours, Danielle, when she was pregnant with her daughter, Sanaa, who is now 7.5. And she was on the subway train, and she gathered her inspiration from there. And Shannon is a really shy person, but something inside of her clicked, and it was what we saw manifest this Saturday. Again, it brought tears to my eyes because knowing the background of it, having heard it before she made it into this play, was just like writing down the vision and making it plain. What I always speak on, what I'm always griping people to do so that they can see their dreams manifest. So it was just like, it was nothing but love for my heart to see her dream manifest into this great stage play. A cast of 7 people. That's all you need sometimes is 7, or maybe 6. It might have been 6 people. I hated depression. She got on my nerves. She was a nasty little bugger. She just kept on coming around at all the inappropriate times, whispering up in their ears and making them feel some type of way. The funniest part was when the one lady, so it was 3 people.
Is it still running, or is it so?
What?
Is the play still?
The play is over until further notice, but I had to say this one part. So the lady who's got the issues going on, she sit on the train. She's just tired of everybody. Homegirl, she sent her head, look, I'm just tired of y'all. She snatches her wig off and just sits down on the seat beside her. I said, oh, really? That's just how you gonna go? You're just gonna snatch your wig off and keep it moving? Like, she was just done with it. And then the funnier part about it was, she got back on the train another day with the wig still off, with the still carrying the wig. But that's just, not to be funny, not to make fun of it, but that's just what people are going through. You go through so much stuff in life that you don't even know what you're doing in the natural, that you're just in a fog and you're just moving, going through the motions and not even paying attention to who you are. That's
what that metaphor was for you.
What?
That's the idea that at that moment she broke and she took the wig off.
She took the wig off. She broke. She sat on the seat.
But the next time you saw her,
she still had the wig off.
She still had the wig off, but it was still with her.
Still with her.
I get it. In her brokenness, she's still carrying
that same.
Exactly, that same.
And
problem.
It's just like, I hate to get deep on you, but that play
was a good one. I like that.
That play was just that deep. When anything happens in your life and you have a person saying, pray about it, pray about it, pray about it, you're on the other end like, how can you pray? Like, how can you pray about these things? How can you have so much hope and belief that God is going to do something for you when you're not feeling it? You don't want to hear it. And that's when depression comes in. It comes in at that peak when you are denying everything about God and who He is and what He does. So it's just like, come on, let's get better, let's do better. So again, I loved everything about that. The play, if she brings it back, you guys, I'm gonna let the whole world keep on knowing about it, because you have to see it. It is phenomenal. It is fantastic. You need to be about this play, because if you or someone you might know suffers with depression, do not take it lightly, okay? Depression is something serious and that needs to be addressed. I know in Black families, you're not depressed. You need to pray and talk to Jesus. He'll work it out. Get help. Really, get help. Get help. That's why God gave people gifts of psychiatry and made them doctors so that you can go and sit and talk to them. And then you also have the word that backs them up. So do not be afraid and do not be ashamed. Learn who to talk to and get help. Do not suffer and do not self-medicate. And that's what a lot of people suffer from. They self-medicate. That was one of the ladies, that was her thing. That's what she did. She self-medicated with the pills and the liquor, and she just wanted to be done. Get help. It's help out there for you. Do not be ashamed. Get that done.
That's a mental health note. And we're going to flash the mental health hotline number on our page for you today. I'm just messing with you. You know, I like to let it. But it does sound like it was good. That's just me. I always
it is. That's just you. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be right back.
I did like that. I did love that metaphor about the wig situation. That's kind of crazy. What's going on in everybody's world? So like I said, this weekend I didn't do anything other than sit in the lab, and so it's prom season. We're not going to talk about that too much anymore. But it's been going pretty good. I'm excited about some of the things that I'm doing. I'm excited about a lot of work I got going on with my clients. And like I said earlier today, we're going to talk a lot of fashion for you. So for me, I received a post today. I'm going to post the pictures on the page, the Jazzy Janelle page. To all of my Iceberg fans, everyone who remembers the original Iceberg and the whole Iceberg sports era with the whole Looney Tune cartoon situation. Well, there's a designer collection. I'm going to say it's Kith. And they're doing a collabo with Iceberg. And somebody asked me today, how did I feel about it? Are they really trying to bring Iceberg back? I wouldn't be mad at seeing Iceberg back. You know, right now, Jazz and I were talking earlier about what fashion is right now. To me, fashion, we're at a place to where we're in the 80s. If you are familiar with any of the 80s style, our guest is here, so I'm getting job amped and excited. But if you're familiar with any of the 80s styles, the 80s was a hodgepodge of everything. It was kind of some of the throwaway from the 60s, some of the stuff from the 70s. It was leather, it was lace, it was a little bit of everything. You could do everything you wanted in fashion. So that's kind of where we are right now in fashion. I was telling Jazz earlier that to me, fashion is just constantly recycling itself. So if you go back and you think about what happened in the 80s, after the 80s came the 90s, and there was this whole minimalist period. Everything was Donna Karan, simple silhouettes, straight lines, Calvin Klein, everything straight. We're going to go back into that place. The only difference is now it's coming at you in the form of unisex clothing. If you look at most unisex clothing, it's one simple silhouette, a pants, a shirt. It's all the same. It's usually monochromatic. It's a base color. There aren't a lot of prints. That's so that both genders can wear it. So for me, fashion is just constantly repeating itself. You know, over and over again, it evolves a little bit, but it's still, it's what we've already seen. So, you know.
Indeed.
And that was me kind of, what's up, sir? That was me kind of spinning off on my whole feel about the whole Iceberg thing. But I was saying with Kith and Iceberg, I think it's, to me, the best way for me to say it and pull it, if you look and you're familiar with Kith, it's KITH.com. Check them out. They have shops in Bergdorf. But if you check them out, the designer actually is from Queens, New York. He used to design for David Z doing shoes, and he evolved into this lifestyle brand. And if you think what he's doing, he's actually making a smart move. He's partnering with all of these iconic urban brands to basically build the name and the imagery of his brand. For lack of a better word, I call it fashion social climbing. You know what I mean? It was posed to me, well, why wouldn't he go with a bigger brand? Well, any bigger brand would swallow them up. So if he had paired with a Supreme, which we just saw Supreme and Louis Vuitton come together, when people talk about those pieces, they don't talk about the Louis Vuitton pieces that Supreme did. They say Supreme, what Supreme did with Louis Vuitton. And Louis Vuitton is a much, much bigger brand. So when you have a smaller brand trying to partner up, it doesn't actually work. Look at it, think of it like this. When Usher wanted to be relevant, he did a song with Chris Brown. See, even though Chris Brown was a star, he wasn't the mega star. Or better yet, better not even say Chris Brown. Let's say Young Homie Quan. When Usher did that song with all those young cats all of a sudden got some recognition from a different group of people. So that's kind of how you look at building brands.
Building the brand, and because like I see a lot of people wearing Champion now.
Okay, so Kith,
that's the Champion.
They did a collabo with Champion. Champion is an urban staple.
Right.
So for this brand to come in and get licensee to come in and design something for Champion, and they did elevate what Champion does. All of a sudden now, you're looking at them in a whole new light.
Okay. And even with Fila. So who's Fila collaborating with?
With Rihanna.
Oh. Okay, because everyone is
So,
now
yeah.
wearing Fila. I didn't know
so
that.
whole thing, like, you know what I mean? You tie yourself with that brand. No, Rihanna's not Fila. Rihanna's Puma.
She's Puma.
Rihanna's Puma. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Fila.
Get on that.
I'll check that
That's
out.
your job.
I'll check that out.
That's what you do. You do urban wear.
Yeah, you know, I love it. But I'm excited. Check out those pieces though. Those Iceberg and Kith. I'm going to give Iceberg the utmost respect. Iceberg and Kith collabo pieces. It's some amazing stuff. It's more the iconic.
Did you used to style people on the Iceberg? Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah.
Is that your plug?
No, that wasn't my plug. I loved Iceberg. You had to style artists in Iceberg. That was the time.
I know.
You had to come on set with an Iceberg sweatshirt. Shout out to my man Terrell. Terrell was my go-to guy at Iceberg. He was the Iceberg showroom guru.
See?
So
see
if anybody, all you know who know Terrell, shout him out.
I
No,
don't
you
know
don't know
Terrell.
Terrell. Those are the New York folks. Terrell's good people.
Hmm.
He worked. He's an amazing stylist. Very accomplished young man.
He's still styling?
Yeah, he's still styling. He's still styling.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's in with Joe, Lorena, and all those folks.
All those folks.
Names to drop for him: Khaled, Remy Ma. Terrell has touched and seen everybody.
Okay.
Terrell is the man. Terrell actually is good friends with a friend of our guests, Bevy Smith.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
That's my road dog right there.
So we're excited to have the man in the building today.
Yay!
Yes,
Paul
yes,
is
yes.
here. Come on up,
Yeah, go ahead. Look, that's an easy plug.
Right.
Nice. Hello,
Yes.
everyone. Hi.
Paul.
How you doing?
Good.
We're just pulling it together.
We're
Pulling
it all together.
Okay?
Yeah.
I finally made it
I'm so happy that you
to
made
the big time. No, Miss Girl, let me tell you something. A more loyal friend. She's a fabulous makeup artist. We've seen her makeup on the models all around town, on all the icons that come into town. She is my go-to person, my ride or die. She's always there, early mornings, late night.
Always.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I've seen this show, and I think it's phenomenal. And you are just a wealth of information. See, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, he was just saying all that over there. I'm like, oh my God, I should have read up.
It's
It's going to be a lot.
No,
It's a whole
But I'm
lot.
happy to be here.
Thank
We're
you
glad
so
to
much,
have
and
you.
so happy to
Definitely.
have you here. We were going over our weekend
Yeah.
in review that we always do,
Okay.
and so we haven't even gotten to yesterday.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
So yesterday you did a phenomenal job, Paul. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to tell you that so much. And each time we do a book sign, I say we as
It's
if-
we.
It's we.
Yeah.
Every time you do a book signing, it's just like your story. Everything that you share, it just gets deeper and deeper and
Yeah.
deeper, and it's just so transparent, and I love it. What got you into the industry?
What got me in? Well, what got me in the beginning is I was modeling as a kid for a small agency called New Model.
Okay.
And it was owned by a woman named Cynthia Wilson. Cynthia has a husband named Chuck Wilson, and he owned a chain of health clubs. And at the time, their business took off. But the modeling as a kid helped me have an outlet. So, I told this story maybe yesterday,
you told it yesterday.
I told this story about, how a lot of young kids that are being bullied, they feel like their whole life revolves around what's happening in that moment, what the other kids think about them in school. And for me, I had this outlet that was New Model. And so when Cynthia's husband got really successful and they became multi-millionaires, she didn't really want to do the modeling agency anymore. And so I convinced my mom to buy her agency, and which she did. And my mom said, I don't want to do all this, it's too much work. And I said, I'll do it. I'll do it. So I used to do a modeling workshop on the weekends. I would put an ad in the Washington Post because it was just as the internet was just, just coming out. Maybe other people had it, but I didn't.
Right.
But I got a line put into the house, and I got a 3-fold brochure made. And I put an ad in the Post, and I said, does your kid want to break into the modeling business? We have these workshops to tell them how. For $99, unlimited sessions, they can come. And it was at Stouffer's Crystal City City Hotel.
Okay.
I would get all the calls back on Sunday. Monday, I would return everybody's phone call, get their address, mail them the 3-fold brochure, call them Thursday, Friday, right, confirm, and then on Saturday, the whole day I would go and work at the hotel and do my workshop. And as I got older, the people got older, and I learned more. And then I started that when I was like 13. And when I was 16, I seemed really grown.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because you started a business at
young hustler.
I did.
Like young mogul.
Exactly.
Just making things happen.
So people ask, like, I had that Jag at 16. I told the story yesterday. So when I was 16, I had this Jag, and I was saying, oh, well, this is definitely going to be the great equalizer. A Jag is going to make sure they don't harass me in school. And the first day I got it, I remember I was driving out of the school parking lot, Laurel High School. Mm-hmm. I was driving out of the parking lot, and this guy was like, "Fag Jag," and I'm like,
I'm like, no, leave me alone.
But it didn't break me. Bruised me a little bit at the time. Yeah. So that's why I have a concern for young people that are going through things that don't have other outlets, and parents that aren't in tune to what their kids are really into. What is interesting to them, to give them that outlet, because everybody says, my boy, he should do sports. My girl, she should do ballet or whatever. Well, what if your kid's not into that? They need something that interests them. So that's what got me into it. So when I moved to New York at 19 years old, I was modeling for Wilhelmina. I was represented for them as an actor and a model, and I was doing okay. Not enough to be like big time, but a working person. And I thought, well, gosh, maybe I should bring back some of my model coaching to the big agencies. So I started doing it at Wilhelmina, and then I did it at Elite across the street for Elite Model Look, which is a competition where they found Giselle and what's the other homegirl, the other Brazilian. It slips my name for a second. No, not Giselle, but anyways, Adriana Lima. She came through Elite Model Look. Shout out to my friend Fred Howard, who used to run Elite Model Look. And from there, I just did that over the years, and I started styling and doing all that. And then I met through my roommate at the time, Alicia Bridgewater, who is now the bookings editor at O Magazine. So the bookings editor, books the models. And so at the time, she was the assistant bookings editor at Cosmopolitan. She worked under a woman named Ro Penular in New York. And she met...
She's so crazy.
Do you know Ro?
You know Ro?
Well, I'm still stuck at the fact that you said you got your start with Wilhelmina. My first model testing gig was with Wilhelmina. I did all of the tests for their plus size models on their board. So
you did, you were shooting?
I was styling.
You were styling, okay.
I saw one of my best friends is Lyris Cross.
Oh, Lyris, yeah.
So Lyris I met her, styled her for a test. Yeah. She took it to the agency.
What year was that?
They loved this. Wow, this was 97.
Okay, that's when I was there. I moved there in 97.
They loved it.
So I probably was with them starting like maybe 99, something like that. Because I moved there in 97. But Sean Patterson, was the president at the time. And I ended up doing 2 shows with them. I did The Agency. On VH1. There was a reality show about Wilhelmina in New York, and I was the model coach on the show. And I used to fight with Pink and Becky was the girl's name. I don't know if you know Becky.
I don't know.
Little English girl with an attitude talking about, who is he? I was like, who is she? I'm from Cleveland. I don't care where you're from. You're from London. Cleveland rules. So, so I know those people very well. They were great friends over the years.
It's just really funny because that's where I got my whole start.
Did you know Cassie Caesar? You know Cassie's one of my closest friends. So Cassie used to be the assistant of the president at the time, Dieter. You remember Dieter, the owner? Yeah.
Well, I knew all of them through Lyris, and it was crazy because we did one test shoot with her. She took it to the agency, and they were like, "We loved it." I moved to New York to try to go to school. Met Lyris, did a couple of tests, and they were like, "Look, you can make $150 if you just put some outfit together for these girls." I was like, "Oh,
you're like, okay,
I got a job."
That's nothing.
I got a job. And it was amazing.
Well, okay, so you guys make it seem so easy just to go to New York and do all these grand things.
It's easy to go to New York, but it's hard work to make it worth the while. Anybody can get up and go to New York. You just got to have tenacity to stay at it. You know what I mean? And it is a lot of, I've learned this, it's a lot of who you know, but it's also being able to do the job after that person you know gets you in it. So people be like, oh, it's all about who you know. Yeah, who you know is amazing.
Yeah.
But if you can't do the job, that who you know is not going to recommend you. And first of all, they're not going to refer you because it falls on their shoulders.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, my book, Pulling It All Together, Essential Style Advice on Being Beautiful, Confident, and most of all happy. The reason why I thought it was important to put the confidence in there because, for one thing, there's a lot of style guys out there. You know, Lloyd Boston has one, Carson Kressley. A lot of people that you've seen have these style guides. I often thought if I ever had an opportunity to have a book published, I would be able to drive the narrative and base it on the confidence. And based on what you were just saying, how this all ties in is I really had a very strong self-confidence at the time.
Yeah.
And I used to say to my friends, because we would go to Cipriani downtown, and it's before I was on MTV Made or anything, and I say, God, why did I never paid for anything down there. They would treat me like I was a star. And so years and years later, I would say to my friends, how did we do that?
Right.
Like, how did we go to P. Diddy's birthday party and Naomi Campbell? And I remember because I thought in my head I was somebody. Not in a weird, he's a douchebag kind of way. No, but in like a, hey.
Because you have a
You
strong
were
presence.
somebody.
You
Yeah.
are somebody.
You
yeah.
walked in
Right.
with the idea that you knew who you were.
So that's why I like to say that to people. It's like, it really, yeah, you can have the most fabulous stuff. You can, pay all this money for labels. By the way, back in those days, I was all about the labels. And my friends used to make fun of me because everything I wore had to have some kind of, it had to be somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if it wasn't somebody I recognized, I wasn't wearing it.
Right.
I also ran through so much money that, and as a grown person,
Right.
a real grown person,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't make any sense to me. You kind of become bigger than the clothes.
Bigger than the label.
You become bigger than the label, and then you really discover what's important, what's really important.
Yeah.
And so the confidence is really key. It doesn't matter what you wear, just wear it with confidence.
And Kelly and I, we were talking yesterday afterwards, and we were just, again, giving you kudos. So if your ears were burning, that was us talking about you in a good way.
Oh, thank you,
And
honey.
we were just saying, being around you and just breathing in Paul Wharton. That sounds creepy, but just being in your presence, it makes you feel like, yes, I can conquer the world.
Yeah.
I can create this. I'm gonna do that. And
We roll through. Okay. And let me tell you something. A few weeks ago, they came up to New York with me. I was bartending on Watch What Happens Live. And did we not own everything?
We owned everything.
Look, everything.
Everything.
These girls roll through, but I believe in you all. And everybody needs a little boost, a little pick me up, somebody to believe in them.
Yes,
to help boost their own self-confidence. And it happened for me earlier on, and there's people that were like, "Kai, you have something."
Yeah.
I said, "I do."
Now, how do you get that something?
How do you get
How
it?
do you get it? Because you started from a young age,
Yeah.
13, and then 19 in New York,
Yeah.
and then in your 20s, you're married, and
Sure.
now you just celebrated 40,
Yeah.
and you're here.
I'm here.
And you're going further. Like,
Yeah.
I already know this, and I've seen it already for you. So, it's like, how do you get that confidence? Because people, they try, and then they stop. Have you had those
I
moments?
think you get the confidence because you don't try to be anything that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You really get in a very quiet moment. Like, I had a guy that I had hired not too long ago to drive me. Remember I was telling you about the guy with the loud music?
Yeah.
And I hired this guy to drive me, young black guy, smart. He wasn't even that young. He was like in his 30s. Smart guy. And I thought he was smart. He sounded smart. But every time I would get in the car, he would have this music blasting. And it was all this energy,
Yeah.
okay? And he was moving, and he lit a cigarette. And I'm like, don't blow that on my... Don't blow that near me. And like the music is too loud, and it was like too much going on, and he was constantly asking me, well, what should I do? Well, how can I be somebody? And he would turn the music up louder. And I'm like, okay,
But you're
well, start
blocking
by turning the music down.
Right.
There's too much going on in here. You can't hear yourself think. How are you ever going to know what you're really into, what you're good at, what you respond to when you got all this going on? So what I tell people, and I talk about this in my book, like my kind of, as I work up to going to sleep. Like I kind of had my way about things. You know how peaceful my house is.
Yeah.
Like I kind of keep that stuff down because one thing I like about these girls that help me get ready every day is they respect the quiet time, because before we go on the live show in the morning on Fox 5 or we do all the other stuff that I do, like there's a time period where we're not really saying anything. And if people are insecure about their position somewhere, they're constantly talking, constantly just, and then when you really listen to them, not really saying much, just talking. But there's a certain point as a creative where you must gather your thoughts, whether it's in the planning stage of your career, you know, earlier on, or whenever you need to reinvent yourself, or it's go time and showtime. 3, 2, 1, action, and if it's live, you got to go.
You got to go.
You don't, you know, you can't keep planning forever. And so, I mean, you just have to have that moment of quiet. You have to be in tune to your inner voice, and you know, to do that, turn down all that other stuff and all that confusion.
Yeah. So, you said yesterday again, I was listening, and you just said, okay, that boss fired me. I have another, you know, I just don't have one boss that I'm working for.
Right. Well, they didn't fire. Nobody fired me.
No one fired you, but when you just saying when people depend
somebody has
on...
probably fired me in the past. I just can't remember at the moment, but I'm sure somebody has fired me. But what I was saying,
you were narcoleptic one day.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I quit that job because earlier on in my career, I had a regular job like as a receptionist. I was 19 or 18, and I thought I had narcolepsy. I went to the doctor, and I was like, oh my God, I had that thing where people just like fall out, you know, because I would be, and I had this uncontrollable urge to like get under my desk and sleep, and I knew that's what you couldn't do at an office, but I knew that I had this horrible illness. So I go to the doctor, and he's like, well, when did it happen? I was like, between 9 and 5, you know, and then afterwards I'm fine. I go to happy hour.
Hey, I'm up.
Yeah. So, you know, I realized, he's like, well, you don't have narcolepsy, but you need to find something that, you know, that you want to do. But what I was saying in terms of being a creative, I think it's important to figure out what you want to do and figure out how to monetize that. And for me, like, I have a job, I work for Fox, okay? But that's one of the many things that I do. So what I was saying to the group, the Fashion Bomb Daily group, Claire Solmer's group, Conversations with Claire, is that it's important as creatives to create as many income streams and really treat your business like a real business. Like, we have an office. It was important for me to take on the expense of running an office because I have a real business and a real brand. It's not something I just can roll over out of the bed and go doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's not going to run and support you, and you can't build what you need to build just by doo-doo-doo-doo on the side of the bed. And maybe somebody else could, but for me, I have to run it like a real business. So I don't like to ever be put in a position where one guy, the man, can fire me and I'm broke and broken.
Gotcha.
Like, I just don't want to do that. So for me, it's like, you know, I know how many events I have to do a month. I know I have to sell a certain amount of shows, you know, because I'm a content creator. I work with networks. I create shows. I sell shows. I'm selling a movie right now to a popular network that I really love, and that's exciting to me. But whatever it is that you want to do, make candles. I have skincare products. We're launching our hair care product line in May. You have to have multiple streams of income because not everything is going to work out.
Right.
I know there was someone that came to me years ago that came into my office, and they were like, they saw all the boards and all the, maybe it was like 8 things going on. And said, you know what you need to do? This person didn't know me at all. You know what you need to do? You need to focus on one thing. And I said, okay, what I'm going to tell my landlord?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Thing,
so I'll focus on one thing and I won't eat. Or I'll focus on that one thing, and what if that doesn't work out? So as a creative, you have to be okay with hearing no from time to time, with looking at something and saying, wow, I put more in over a long period of time than I got out. You know, maybe I'll drop that off, but I'll create something else that's new.
Yeah.
So I'm just a fan of not being stuck when one person decides that you're not the one anymore.
Okay. Well, we have some people who have chimed in and said some things. So Jossie says sometimes I need to quiet to hear myself think. I like that makes sense, and then I totally can relate. Who else?
Strawberry says, "Hey, Paul, love you."
This is amazing. That's one of our former guests.
Former guests.
Oh, fantastic! Hey,
everyone
Star.
is chiming in. And Star has a business. She makes crab pies.
She makes what? Crab pies? That sounds good.
They are good.
Wow.
Trust me.
They're delicious. So
what's the recipe?
she said God gave it to her.
God gave it to her.
She said
I want to make one. I want to take one to Patty. Star, I'm going to take one of your crab pies to Patty. You know, she'll be here on the 8th of April at the Warner Theater. I don't know if y'all saw my holiday special with Patty LaBelle. I went to her house. Did you see it?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
I was with her, so I saw all of it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So we went to her house.
We
I was
did.
jealous, but you know what I'm saying.
Don't be jealous.
We went to her house.
It was inspiring.
It was inspiring, wasn't
Yes,
it?
no, it was.
Wait, I gotta tell y'all, since we're here together, we gotta
Yes.
just clue them into the behind the scenes. So we get there and we are tripping. First of all, I gotta tell you, I cried on the way up. Didn't I boohoo?
Yes. And we just say, it's okay.
It wasn't.
It's okay.
It wasn't like a. It was like, I mean, I had a total, because you have to realize this is someone. When you're a young gay boy, okay, you know certain things not to do around your father, okay, and it's anything. You don't play with no Barbies. You don't try on your mama's heels. You don't do anything that's gonna trip the circuit. All right. One thing that I could not hold back on when I was a kid was I would be flying away. I'm gonna get over the rainbow. Okay, so I just couldn't hold back because I loved her that much, you know. And when I was 13, and I told this story. Actually, it didn't really make the show, but when I was 13, I was at Constitution Hall, and she offered me a ride home because my ride had left me because I was waiting there so long.
Wow.
And she remembered, didn't she?
She did. She was like, "That was you." She was like, "I do
And then
remember."
she told the rest
and you
of the
were
story.
getting so they were like, "No, you're getting too familiar with him. No, we can't take him." No, yeah. He was like, "That could have been my mother." No.
So that was an amazing experience. But one other tip I'll give to creatives in any scenario of building, there's always another level. Okay, you have a goal, you get to another level. But when we were leaving, you remember what the man said?
Yeah.
So we were leaving, and what the man said?
He said, "You drive too?"
Yeah, he was like, "Wait a minute, you got it. You got this big old crew.
And
you host a show,
you driving?"
and I was driving. I was driving. Look, the van. I was backing the van out. And
Not
so,
the van.
The van.
Out of Patty's driveway. It was like they opened the
van.
gates. And we were doing that because you stand down your ego and you do what needs to be done.
Exactly.
You know, I went to rent the van. You know, I could have got somebody to drive, but it wasn't in the budget for that show. Do you know what I mean? There's a budget for everything. And so you have to stick to that. And as you're growing, you know, you need to make sure that all the stuff is taken care of. The, you know, the insurances, the you know, the office, in my case, a lot of the things, you know, so you just do what you have to do. But when you have a team like this, and I keep thanking you, but I just want you to know how much you mean to me.
You mean a lot to me because
you mean a lot to me.
I was telling people, and I told you once we got up there and we would come back home, I was sitting there watching TV, and that's when everybody was talking about Christina Aguilera shouldn't have sung that song. Someone else should have did it. And they played a video of Ariana Grande at the White House, and she was sitting beside Patti LaBelle. And I was like, I want to meet her one day. And that was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I get a text message from you.
Yeah.
Do you have to go to work on Tuesday? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what do you need, Paul?
Yeah.
And he was like, we're going to Patti LaBelle's house. I'm like,
oh, she was like, it's on, it's popping.
I got you. I went to work.
But you know what I love about you? Whether it was at Patty's house or somebody, if I really needed you, you would, you know, she would have shown up. But part of that, what you thought, what you saw with Patty at the White House, and then what you were thinking in your head, you wanted to meet her. The summer before, so we did this special in December. We shot it like on December 12th, 2017. In June, I started telling people, I'm going to do a holiday special this year. I have done 4, okay? 2 of the years was with Paula Deen, one was with Tyra Banks, and then the other, there was no big celebrity guest, my family. But I
was looking at that one earlier today at work.
Yeah.
I was on your website.
Oh, the one with Tyra?
Yeah.
And my mom and all that? Okay. So I really love the holidays. And doing a holiday special always brings me a lot of joy. And I like how it brings my family together. And then we cook and we eat and we watch this special. So I wanted to do that. I didn't have a deal. I had just moved to Fox the year before. So I didn't talked to him about doing the holiday special yet. But I started to tell people, I'm doing a holiday special this year. Because I knew I was doing it. And then I started to say, I'm doing a holiday special with Patti LaBelle. And then I started to say, I'm doing a holiday special with Patti LaBelle at her house. I had not asked anybody. No. I had not pitched to anybody. I had not called Patty's people or anything. But I really wanted that to happen. Do you see how badly I wanted that to happen?
Yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah, like really.
I was so sure of it. I could see it. I could feel it. I could hear it. I could smell it.
Yeah.
You know,
we got there. That moment. I was just like, I pulled up and I was like, I looked over. I'm like, it's Patti LaBelle.
She was standing in the kitchen. We saw her from the driveway. Yeah.
Okay, that's her. We're really here. This is really her house.
You have to visualize it. You really do, and then that visualization you can actualize that. You have to do the work. So what I did, let me just walk you through the step from the visualization and the speaking it into existence. Then I wrote the show. Okay, so I wrote the show, and then I did a budget.
Okay,
and then I pitched it to Fox, and at the same time, I reached out to Patty's daughter-in-law, Lona Edwards, who married Zuri, who's Patty's manager, and she was a good friend of mine. Over the years, she's a makeup artist in DC, and now she's married to Patty's son. So that's a good in, right?
Yes, exactly.
So once I did the work and I got Fox Television behind me and I partnered with them on it so that it could be a joint production venture, and I would stay on as executive producer and host, and they would do all the technical stuff and, you know, give me a great time slot, and they gave me a full hour on Christmas morning, which was a lot to them,
that's
right?
A lot.
I don't know any gay black boy that's had that on Fox 5 on Christmas morning at 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
Oh,
right, me and Patty, right? So, no, yeah. So you can visualize it, but then do the work.
And doing the work, what are some of the moments when you just like, I don't want to do this, I'm tired? Do you have those moments? Do you get tired? I don't see you getting tired. It's just like, let's go.
Yeah, I'm usually like that in the morning.
Right. Okay.
But my days are so long. Like, this is
what time does your
total
day
stretch
start?
for me.
Right. That's why I'm like, Paul, are you still coming?
No, there was no way I would not come. But like, I'm tired by this time of the day. I'm usually like nodding out because I get up, like, my mind is going in the morning. So I'm the kind of person, like, I'll get up at 5, and then, you know, Priscilla comes, and we put the coffee on, and we light the incense. Priscilla's the lady who takes care of my house, and, you know, takes care of me. And now I'm grown and big, but whatever. She makes the coffee. And we get things moving until my brain works in the morning. So that's where, if I need to revise things on the script for the TV movie, or if I need to I'm working with a big television cable network right now on 3 different series, and I'm working with them. So I'm revising, I'm writing all my emails and drafts, and then around 7 I'll send all the drafts that I wrote out. My brain works really well then. Then we go and we do the show, and then I head from there to the office or to the podcast, and then podcast, then office. And so by this time,
it's like wind down. Because Paul told me one day when we first started working together, and I was like, oh, I was out till like 3 in the morning. He said, try to be to bed by 1.
Right.
He was like, no. Be to bed by 1 o'clock. You're going to age yourself. And it's not healthy. And I was just like,
because what people don't know is, for me, if I do the late night, like, I gotta go home and take a nap in between. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Like, I have to have it. And when I say nap, I put the headscarf on. No.
Everything.
It's not me. It's not like this trying to be cute. I have to do the headscarf, the whole face wash. Sometimes I'll take a shower, put my pajamas on.
Right.
I take a nap.
You basically go to bed.
I go to bed.
You go to bed.
This is if I need to pull a late night. But
no, but after you told me that, I'm just like, Paul said, if I want to stay looking youthful, I need to be home by 1 and in my bed. So I make it a purpose to go to bed early now and then stay hydrated, because
I love it.
Yeah. I'm like, once you told me that, I was like, you're right. He knows. He's wisdom.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what are some of the, when you do have those moments where you're like, I want to let it all go. What do you say to yourself?
Wait, let it all go?
Well,
I don't want y'all to come take my shit back home.
Ever. Yeah.
What's the line I always use? Keep the lights on.
Keep the lights on.
Okay.
Keep the lights on.
So when you have those moments, the only thing you're concerned with is keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
What do you say to yourself to keep yourself motivated? What are some of the things you do to stay motivated?
Well, the joy I have in being my own boss is greater than however tired I'm feeling.
Gotcha.
You know, the level of exhaustion could not be worse than me going to a job that I hate, having somebody say, Wharton, come to my office.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not built for all that. You know? So I need to keep running this boss thing in my own life. And that's okay. See, and I also want to talk about that. I want to go into the confidence a little bit in me talking about, because when I say, like, I'm the boss, people sometimes are like, oh, God, he's annoying.
No.
But it's a choice that you make. I mean, really. You know, the bullying culture is, I want to suppress. Bullying is about suppression. So I want to keep any positive feelings you have about yourself, anything that shows me that you think that you're something, I'm pushing that shit way down, okay? I'm going to make sure I stay on that ass so that you don't have anything that makes you feel that you don't exude anything. I do look good today. I mean, you notice when you give someone a compliment and
They
you look pretty today, or they just can't accept it. It's like, what? Who, me? No, you must be kidding. And so for me, there's things about myself that I own and that I love. You know, traits that came over time. They tried to be pushed down earlier in life, and then they came busting out. And one of those things is, I am the boss of in my situation. You know what I'm saying? And you understand what I mean. And so that, there's a responsibility. You know, you've heard somebody say, you know, the cost to be the boss.
Cost to be the boss.
Do you know, you pay the cost to be the boss?
Exactly.
Like, I know what that cost is. And sometimes you are tired. Yeah, right. Yeah. Sometimes you're tired, and sometimes you're not sure how you're going to work it all out. Like, you're like, I don't see it, but I know I can. You know, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to navigate this obstacle, but I'm pretty sure that I can. And so it's just about believing in yourself.
And pulling it all together.
Pulling it.
Plug.
Available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart.
All that stuff. You know where to go get it at. So everyone's just chiming in, and they're like so agreeing with you on everything that you're saying. I always miss things to be my own boss. That's right, Daryl. Daryl is a designer.
Nice.
In New York.
I always miss things to be my own boss. Oh, because you miss like the parties and things that are, absolutely.
He is his own boss. And so Jossie, she is part owner of a film company here, Collective Media Group.
Nice.
I work with them. I'm their lead makeup artist.
What kind of films do they do?
They do everything.
That's exciting. I gotta look into that. Send me that.
They do everything. They have a film that they're working on now called Blade.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a comic book version of Blade.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so they were on the show.
Right here in DC.
Right here in DC. 5 owners. Yes.
I love it. Please.
Here. I will definitely.
Let me come sit on the set. That sounds great.
Oh, they will love it.
Yeah.
Jossie, she just said yes.
I love that.
So, any other questions, guys? Because Paul is a busy man. It's his bedtime.
It's my bedtime. No, you know, I'd say it's so funny. I not that I go to bed at 6 o'clock, but you know me. I'm a creature of habit. Like I stay close to home.
And this is
out of the way.
This is. I told Will.
We back behind Jesus' back.
I was like, this thing must be broke.
No, it's not that far. I said we're not at the Darcy. We're not.
But there must be a more direct way. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. I was like, I came through somebody's backyard. I was like does it take you to? Okay, that's what you do.
Yeah,
you just do that. Okay, got it.
I maneuver. You know,
but you're a good. Yeah, she'll do it.
Yeah, like you know.
Jazz is that go-to girl. Like you know what I mean.
Like that day we were at the studio, he was just like, "Do you want to go to the wedding?" And I'm like, "Yeah, where is it at?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right, let's go." I'm
like
why not? You know what I mean? But
you just go. I love that. So as y'all are building this,
Kelly's saying hi.
Hey.
She said, "Hey guys."
Oh, that's our Kelly.
Yes, that's our Kelly.
We miss you. I thought I was gonna see her here.
Yeah, Kelly had to put some work in.
Thank you, Daryl.
You know, she got the questions. How did you just take the leap and do
your own thing?
Do your own thing, regardless how uncomfortable it was. What was your push?
What was my push? Well, my dad was an entrepreneur. Is an entrepreneur. He's a builder. He builds houses and buildings and stuff like that. And I've seen him up, and I'm seeing him now. And I knew that, you know, to get to the really good stuff, you got to go through some gritty stuff. So I wasn't afraid when things were uncomfortable. And I said yesterday, when, you know, being in New York City, when you have to choose between having a slice of pizza or getting a Metro card, like that's the reality in a young creative's life if it hasn't been given to you. And for me, I always knew how to kind of work it to the best of my ability, but I did have those moments. You know what I mean?
Those are the moments that make you great, though.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that make you great.
Because if you don't go through that stuff, when it starts to get good, you either act like a total jerk, you lose all your cash. I mean, you do some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Even when having those moments, you do some crazy stuff.
Sure. If you're not, I mean, maybe at my age, I feel like you kind of, you know, you have little fabulous moments, but really you're thinking about like your life insurance, health insurance, you know what I mean? Paying your tax man and all that kind of stuff. So
you're thinking more of the longevity of it.
Yeah. You know, I'm 40 now, so I'm thinking more like, where do I want to be? And people say, well, where do you want to live? And I started to say the other day, what, in the several places?
Yeah, you
right?
said several places. And I said no California.
Right, she doesn't want me to go to California.
I don't want to go to Cali.
Because I want a little place in LA. But she's like, she doesn't agree.
I don't see Cali on me. I don't. I see New York.
She just said, go visit. Just go visit.
Go
right?
visit. Make this home base.
Yeah.
And then go visit.
I do, but I love it every time I'm out there, you know.
But does it love you back?
Ooh. Okay. Well, we ain't making no money out there. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
There you go. That just answered that.
Yeah. So Jossie said, come on set. I am playing the mother of a baby vampire. So I'm going to be a vampire.
I love it.
I'm going to be a vamptress.
A vamptress?
Yeah.
I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to be a vamptress. Will is going to make me some leather and lace.
Do a costume for it.
It's going to do my costume.
Now, are you designing your lines still?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. From DC?
Yes.
That's great.
Right now I'm working on prom and all of that.
That's
and really
phenomenal.
Figuring out exactly where I want to be. I really enjoy the idea of creating these one-of-a-kind pieces. So I'm not teetering anymore. I know I'm going to do the small capsule collection and then really focus on these gowns. I really, really love it. You know what I mean? I love the idea of doing couture pieces.
Do you all know about, that sounds phenomenal, I want to talk to you more about that. Have you ever heard of Bread for the City?
Yes.
Okay, so Bread for the City, you know, they're under the Capital Area Food Bank. Capital Area Food Bank, you all, is the hunger relief hub for the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. They feed over 500,000 people with 30 million pounds of food, half of which is fresh produce, thanks to former First Lady Michelle Obama. So I used to be the ambassador against hunger for the Capital Area Food Bank, and now I work with some of their partner agencies. So later in April, I'm doing something to, they have a big gala. So they have the welfare to work, like kind of program, and then they have a women's empowerment program and another program for men. So I'm getting them all together. There's 40 people that we are doing hair, makeup. I gotta tell you, you gotta look it out.
Put it on there.
It's just happening. Hair, makeup. But I want to talk to you about maybe for a few people that you might have the opportunity to dress them. So I want to create a very special evening and opportunity to make them feel and see themselves in a way, you know, because you know how it can really change a life. The work that you all do really does, the work that we all do really does help change people's look and outlook on life.
Definitely.
So, and one other thing, if you ever do feel low, if you ever feel like you don't have what you need and it's very discouraging to you, one piece of advice I would give people is to go and volunteer in those moments, because it really does help put things into perspective. And usually when you are in those moments, you start to get down on yourself and you need perspective. So go and help somebody else that's in need in those moments, and you'll find that your situation is going to start cycling back up. You know, it'll come back up. Just give it a moment. It's a part of the creative process.
With that being said,
I love you.
I love you, Paul. I love you, Mark.
Homie,
this has been
thank you for having me on your show.
No, thank you
for having me. You are wonderful.
Ooh,
I love you.
I love you too.
Well, no, right now before you leave,
shamelessly
plug that book.
Oh,
yes, the book.
My book. Oh, wait. You gonna sing a song?
Paul, can we get it right?
Wait, how did we start it again? I had a song made. So Jennifer Lewis is a... Yeah. Jennifer Lewis. You all know Jennifer Lewis. Mother of Black Hollywood. She's a good friend of mine, and she had a song made for her book.
Yes.
Do you know the
I
song?
saw it.
Okay.
I saw it on The View. She did it on The View. Yes.
Right.
I know her song better than mine. How does my song start?
Like I said, it's that melody.
His
I was
name
just
is
talking.
Paul. Wait, what? I done forgot my song.
Makes you good. If it makes you feel better.
Paul's here, pulling it all together.
Mm-hmm.
He's there for you if you need to feel
better.
better. Paul's here, pulling it all together. Hey, okay. Anyway, go to my website. There is a song. There is a song.
There is a good song.
Okay.
Because you have two songs.
I cannot believe. Yes, that's why I'm mixing them
Because you
up.
have two
I'm mixing up
songs.
the podcast song and that song.
Because the other song, we were like in there that night, like just getting it. We was just
I can't believe you forgot the song.
But I just said, Paul's
Jazz is
here,
such a
put it all
lyricist.
together.
Jazz is such a lyricist, so she has to have it recorded in that moment. It's one take. She's a wonder. You know,
One hitter.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all, listen. I've gone through a lot. It's been a long day. I've been up for 13 hours. But this is my book. It's called Pulling It All Together, Essential Style Advice on Being Beautiful, Confident, and most of all, happy. What I want for you all as creatives is to really patch into the confidence within. It's really not about what's on the outside. It really isn't. I mean, these things help us move through life. These things help us feel better about ourselves. Certainly, there's things in this book that can help your outer look. It can help you look like the big movie stars you see. They don't even look like that every day. But really, this book is my offering, and the meat of this book is really about you, how to make yourself feel better, and certain choices you can make with your diet, with your sleep rituals, things like that really work on the most treasured part of who you are, yourself, not what you wear. Although that's in there too, but the point of it is to come out of this and use this to help you be your best self. And I believe in all of y'all.
And
I
we
do.
believe in you too.
You
That's
believe
why I believe it. Paul,
Oh, I know you do.
come on. Like,
Go ahead.
nothing,
love
it's
this.
nothing
Sing it
but
for
the
us. I
stars.
believe in miracles.
I believe in miracles. No, I'm just saying, I just want you to know how I feel. How I feel.
Oh, yeah. I love you. I love you. Honey, I love you. I do. More than you ever know. Is for sure. You can always count on my love forevermore. Loving
This is
me
your
to
man,
want
Billy
you,
Bless.
babe.
This is the Jazzy
Loving
Janelle
me to
Show.
want you,
Remember,
baby.
stunting is a habit, fame is a lifestyle, and pull it all together.
Loving me to want you, baby. I'm loving me to want you, baby. Loving me to want you, baby.
Always count on my love forevermore.